All right. Could you go in and introduce yourselves again?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Tommy Andreasen. Working at Lego for 13 years now. And, well, we're here to promote Lego NEXO KNIGHTS, which is going to be awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I also did a lot of work on Legends of Chima and Ninjago, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's Mark Hoffmeier.
I'm Mark Hoffmeier. I'm the head writer for NEXO KNIGHTS. And we got 5 other guys writing on it. And it's been just fantastically good fun. So I'm hoping everybody has as much fun with it as we've had. So.
Okay.
I'm Mikkel Lee. I'm the creative story manager for NEXO KNIGHTS.
Okay. So, all right, I've been ever since we heard the rumors about the show, I've been looking forward to it. And I think Lego just released a trailer on Facebook and some other online places where they showed like the kind of basic thing, it's past and the future and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So with NEXO KNIGHTS, where did that idea come from? Were you involved in like the direct creation, the pitch to Lego?
It's actually a very old idea that we knew we couldn't make it great.
Right.
But we basically at Lego we're very thorough with research and making sure that we feel this is now it's matured enough for release.
Right.
So I think that the very first iteration of it is actually way back from 2009. It's very far from what it was. Then I think in 2011 we got it a lot closer, and then we've kind of just been maturing it ever since, until we got it to the point where we're comfortable with it. We asked a lot of kids whether they would be interested in this.
Right.
We've tried different versions of the story, different bad guys, different level of technology. It's like, how do we do this in the best possible way? So I think that's where that is where we've arrived at. It's really to the point where the kids, this is what they want.
Right.
That's what, so that's great. It's taken them a while to get there.
Yeah, but it's such a. What I really loved about it when I first saw it was it's such a great mix of the mythological, but with that modern gloss, that technological gloss. It's such a great mashup to do because you have those archetypes that everybody recognizes.
Right.
The hero, the princess, the queen, the king. But then you have stuff kids will recognize. They have iPads, and they have the night net, and they have So it's thoroughly modern in that way, and you can play off of that and have as much fun with it as we've had. We've had a lot of fun with it too.
We wanted it to work in the entire world, but inherently, Knights is a very European thing.
Right.
With that level of, there's a layer of tech coming to it.
Right.
That makes it just like, all right, it may be kind of old-fashioned from its core, but it's also something everyone know. But now it's new and fresh. And when we came up with the idea with that rolling castle. Just, okay, maybe there's some wheels to this. It really just took the concept in a different direction.
I know I saw the night on the floating horse, like the levitating horse, and I was like, that's so awesome. I immediately wanted to get that.
But that was just like the thing, take something that's night and then update it just enough so you don't lose the iconography. We have the shields, we have the vehicles. So all that stuff is in there. It's just like updated in a new way. So.
Yeah, and the other cool thing is that you get a sort of a flavor of it downstairs where they're showing how the app game works with it.
Right.
But it will be fully interactive. You'll be able to download powers from
I saw that,
games, TV shows, if you buy the books, if you get the toys in the boxes. And so I think it's one of those things where it's such a new thing that I can kind of see when I look at people first getting it, they're kind of like, they don't quite get that, And like one of the guys yesterday picked up the pad and turned to one of the banners over the booth and captured a power from the shield that was on the banner. And it's like, you just don't, you don't think that you could do that. And it's kind of like, so for me, my experience coming from having worked on Power Rangers, I was like, kids always loved it. Everybody always loved that power transition moment. It's that you're physically embodying the power, and it's neat, and it's done really well as far as that goes.
Always had this great power-up sequence in shows from the 80s.
I love those.
That was just great, but this time around you can actually interact with it while it happened, and it actually rewards you for having viewed it.
Right.
That's gonna be a a unique power attached to each episode.
Yeah.
That you can capture on your iPad or your iDevice, and then actually use the power in the game afterwards.
I can definitely see my brother like running up with the iPad and like holding up to the screen and grabbing that power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or Android device as well, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't want to be discriminatory here. Against.
Well, I mean, I have the new iPhone 6s, so I'm kind of a bit of an Apple fanboy. But hey,
Biased.
I'm glad everybody
Yeah.
can experience that. Yeah.
But it's the other thing we did early on was we really kind of focused on humor.
Yeah.
We wanted to have the action and the adventure, but we focused on character humor because I think that's really a fun way to get to know people, to get to know the characters, and to sort of age it up a touch.
Right.
So that you know it's sort of aspirational.
Right.
You know, and you recognize, you know, oh well, that guy's kind of like the rich kid in my school.
Right.
That guy's like the guy who wants to be the Boy Scout. You
Right.
know?
Right.
I mean, it's like, and playing with those formulas has made it really, really, really fun. You know, I mean, they wise off to each other, and you know, they do funny character-based stuff, and that's been really fun from my point of view, and I think it keeps it very modern and in that Lego vein of like, this is family entertainment.
Right,
so
right.
you can, not only will the kids get something out of it, but if the parents are watching,
Right.
they'll get something out of
Right,
it too.
yeah.
They're going to laugh at something that the kids won't get, and that's okay.
No, character interactions have always been my favorite of like,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of humor. I know like, especially when the new Lego movie, and even with like, you know, especially with Chima
Right.
and Ninjago, I love seeing those characters interact with each other. And once you're established and you can get the jokes, they're going back and forth.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And this has that galore because it really, you know, having made that decision that this is perhaps more of a comedy action adventure rather than an action adventure comedy. I know that's just shuffling words
It's
around, but
presented-
you,
Right.
put comedy in front of it.
Right.
That tells you how you should approach your scenes. You can either go dramatic or you can go funny.
Right.
Obviously, we go both, but you know, it's just
Yeah.
like it drives the way you create this.
Right.
Also, like now we have our bad guys.
Right.
That was a decision. Like, let's take the King's Jester, turn him evil.
Yeah.
Have him as a kind of bit of a neurotic,
Right.
Ellen type character. He's evil, but he's insecure.
Right.
Pair him up with a talking book that has a New York accent that create monsters, and he's really, really obnoxious.
Right.
Then you have like a really good bad guy dude
Right.
that can wise off to each other, and you know they're inherently comedy,
Right.
and that's what the knights have to face off against.
Will there be like an exclusive kind of minifigure, or I don't know how to call it, for the book? I saw the design of the book and I loved it. Is there going to be a special Lego piece for the book?
No, but the book.
Yes, there is.
Well, there is a book. Yeah. The
there-
book's in there. But what I was going to say is, he's also held by a character called the Bookkeeper. Carries the book and carries
okay,
it around.
yeah.
So, because he can't walk.
Right.
So then, of course, you get a lot of comedy from hey, turn me around. I want to look over there. You know, I smell
Right.
something. No, it's the other way, dummy. But the book, I think the book they have actually opens up so you can put, because he collects other books and you can put the books in there. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So that was very well thought out. As far as the toy goes, I was
Right.
like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
It's perfect.
Very nice. But that just it came out as a character. Originally, what we had was we have Jester. He has a
Right.
book.
Right.
And bring monsters out of the book. It's a monster book.
Right.
But then it was just like, hey, why don't we go the full way and make the book a character?
Book an
To make
actual
the book
thing.
talk.
It
Yeah.
has
Right.
an attitude. It has a very bad
And
attitude.
then we just started talking as the book.
Yeah.
Hey, over here. No, not in the chair. On the shelf.
Oh, the accent totally.
Oh,
lends to it.
it's you know, and he'll like just go off on these flights of it. You know, I dated a dictionary once, and boy, she had a great index. You know, and it's like that kind of crazy stuff. And the two actors who are doing the book and Jestro they get along great.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah, by
Jestro is Vincent Tong, who is Kai, right?
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ninjago. So.
Yeah, that was actually by accident. We got a voice cast reading from Vincent Tong, and it's like he's unrecognizable.
Right.
You don't get Kai from that at all.
Right.
And then we have Mark Oliver.
Yeah,
who's,
Mark, who was also.
Who was Garmadon on Ninjago. Also incidental that he was just the best reading of the book
Right.
of monsters.
Yeah,
Did it
that's
very
great.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that. I mean, that sort of having them as sort of the base for our bad guys, and then we have there's also a cast of pretty funny bad guys that work for them too.
Right.
It's worked out really, really well.
Yeah.
There's such a fun balance there.
Yeah.
And then we thought we had the perfect link here. We have this wizard who's a hologram.
Yes,
So
no, I
there's
saw that. Yeah.
entirely new strand of digimagic power here, and that lets into the whole Nexo power system, I guess. And we also wanted to make sure that Ninjagos is always about weapons. So we would take the thing that is very defining for a knight, which is his shield.
Right.
Like, that's where he carries his family crest on. But let's make that a really awesome thing.
Right.
So they use these shields as like the connection to Murloc 2.0, the digital wizard. He can grant them powers through their shield. It's in that way, it's almost like the iPad. And it translates really well to the real world. Because as you're watching the show, you will be able to hold up your iPad, watch the show through your iPad, collect the power. So it's almost like it's this world's representation of a shield.
Right, of the thing that's actually there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But
and yet it's funny because Murloc, even though he is a digital wizard, he still has that sort of doddering, oh dear, oh my, he's still, but now it's like, I let me search my memory banks. Oh, there's a griffin, and I see some fireballs, and you stay away from each other. Would you stay on task, Murloc? Oh yes, of course.
So we have funny bad guys, we have funny monsters, we have a great group of heroes, and we have this old befuddled wizard, we have kings and queens, and then we also have another two characters that haven't really been shown yet. We have a young boy and we have a young girl who's like a computer wizard. So there's really something for all people.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, you can aspire to something, or you can kind of feel, okay, this is me. You know, even if you're a relatively young kid, you can see, okay, I can identify with these two.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing that was really liberating by working with this is because this is knights, but it's futuristic knights. We can just draw on all these pop cultures.
Yeah.
References from all over the place.
So we have the Night News Network.
Yeah.
And they have their own anchorman, and then he has to work with a Squire bot, she's the entertainment reporter, so she's always looking for the scoop out of the palace,
They
and they don't like each other, and it's so we can play all that crazy news stuff, with our newscaster guy. Well, I'm looking for the big chase going on in the kingdom, and we're hoping it's going to go on for 24 hours because we've got some time to fill, that kind of stuff,
Here on the scene.
Exactly. It's so we have a lot of good fun with that.
Yeah.
Because it's just, why not make it like the world that kids recognize, and that's what we get by infusing it with that tech.
Right. So the technology really brings it, it makes it relevant, but still keeping this kind of, ancient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're worried about what will my ringtone be? How do I change the background?
Right. What happens when it runs out of battery? Like I'm worrying that right now. My phone. I've been walking around Comic-Con. When my phone runs out of battery, I'm just like, oh no. What are we gonna do?
It's really first world problems, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And now, Mikkel, can you talk about like all the various worlds and things that NEXO Knights is going to inhabit?
Yeah, there's the TV show, but there's going to be a lot else.
Yeah, well, obviously there's the giant app that's launching in January, and which will hold all the knights.
That's in late December, actually.
Yeah, late December,
early
some
January.
territories,
Right.
and January. And in that you'll get to explore the entire world, and this will also be where you collect all your powers from all the various points.
Right.
From the guy said that she's the TV show, but also comics or the store or obviously the toys itself.
Right.
There's going to be more than 150
different
unique powers.
Oh man.
And then they'll fold more in when they.
Right.
This is a developing story. So,
Right.
So the concept will change, and new powers will come in. It's really something that you can really immerse yourself in.
Right.
On the level, it's very basic. It's easy to understand, but it's also very, very deep once you get into it, and if you want to dive deep into it. So the comic books.
Are they going to be included with the Lego magazine, like the old Bionicle comics? I remember really.
Yeah, we were enjoying those. A lot of comics, and also in club magazines, of course, and yeah, that's a whole bunch.
Yeah. All right. Now, let me ask you something from. All right. So, my team, we focus on a lot of Lego stuff, and we do. But one of our focuses is construction, the constructible action figures. Was there at any point? I believe there's not. I would haven't announced it yet. Was there any point? Was there like discussion to make construction figures from NEXO KNIGHTS or something in that in that degree?
You would know.
Yeah, I would know that. I'm racking my brain whether I'm allowed to divulge any information.
Yeah,
here.
of course, of course.
So
That's why you should answer that.
I will cleverly evade this question.
Okay, all right, just dodge it.
There may be stuff coming. There may not
Okay.
be stuff coming.
All right.
Either way, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, either way. I'm really excited to see what is coming out.
We're really excited about the new Star Wars constructible.
I'm really excited too. I'm looking for that new Stormtrooper to finish myself on the First Order one, that new one.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Looking.
Yeah.
I've obviously purchased Darth
I got Grievous. He's fantastic.
Yeah, his once you build it, it's so big.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about the characters. You talked about how the characters play off each other and that. So when it comes to constructing 4 heroes, kind of starting from scratch, you have an idea of the type of archetypes you want to hit and you want certain characters.
Right.
How did you come up specifically with the characters? And also if you could just introduce them too to some people who might not know who they are.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have another great show out there. It's called Ninjago. You might have seen.
Yeah, might have heard about it.
You may
Just a
have
bit.
reviewed it. It can be very painful to watch once in a while. Have you worked on it? And there we have some great characters. So we definitely want to make sure that our group of characters this time around is different from the ninjas.
Right.
So that's the starting point
Right.
there. So we don't want this guy's Kai and this
Right.
guy's Jay. So make sure that we've got some very different ones. So all our characters kind of they have a signature color, they have a signature weapon that is reflected in the name. So we have Lance Richmond, Clay Morrington from Claymore Sword, we have Macy Halbert, we have Axel, and we have Aaron
Just
Fox.
Axel.
Yeah, just Axel.
Just
He doesn't have a last name.
Okay.
He's a big, strong symbol from
Yep,
Hill
yeah.
Country. Then we have Aaron Fox, who's like the archer, comes from Arrow.
Right.
So that's our characters.
Those are the main. Those are the
main
main
characters.
ones.
Okay.
And they come from very different backgrounds. We'll have episodes where we flash back into, how did they become knights?
Okay,
Stuff
right.
like that.
Because the series starts when they graduate, right? So there might be some stuff like before they're kids or in the academy.
Yeah. You know about the academy?
Oh, well, I've seen a bit.
Yeah. And then we have we have sort of the archetypes, but we have Macy's the princess of the kingdom, who doesn't want to be a princess.
Right.
So, but the king and queen, dad is very much a functionary. The kingdom's been at peace, and so he wants her to sort of be the princess. He wants her to follow in his footsteps and take over the kingdom.
Right.
But we'll come to find out that she's a little bit more like mom, and mom was sort of a butt kicker. Mom
right.
was she's tough, and she kind of keeps everything in line.
Yeah.
But that's a really fun relationship too.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like for a lot of kid shows, you either start with the parents completely gone, or and especially the mother too. You don't get a lot of mother-daughter relationship in kid shows.
Right. And so we wanted to do that. In fact, we have a lot of family in the show because it's designed. I have a lot of adult friends who'll say, I watch Ninjago with my kids, or I watch Chima with my kids. They view it as family viewing.
Right.
So they can play with the toys and they can watch.
Right.
And same thing here. So you want to have those recognizable family interactions and parents that you can make fun of, or kids that you can make fun of.
Right.
We have some where we meet some of the parents and stuff, and it's that kind of thing of I didn't want to be a knight,
Right.
Just stop making trouble. It's that everyone,
Like sending off to the military.
But it's
everyone in our family did it. You're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the guys can really almost be described like his Paris Hilton with the lance.
Right.
Well, who
would that be?
Lance Richmond, of course, comes from a very rich family. He doesn't have much of an interest in being a knight. He just wants to be in the media's eye, and he's very, very good looking, very confident. Really a media darling.
Right.
On the other hand, then we have Clay Morrington, who's very self-made. He's from what we know, he's an orphan.
Right.
We may change that at some point. I don't know. We're working with that. See, that's why we work together. We need to keep each other informed because there's so many strands of this story coming out.
But he lives by the Knights code, and so he and Lance are sometimes it's like Lance is like, hey,
break some rules.
Just look good, have great hair.
Extreme sports guy, Aaron
slay
Fox,
some things.
Using his shield as a hoverboard.
Right.
Oh, that's just like, how awesome was that? that was my darling. I really fought for that.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So there may be a reason why his last name is Fox too. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see.
And that's an excellent, big, strong. It comes as a special figure. We haven't never done before. Kind of simple, but has musical and aspirations and wants to be a cook.
Right. Oh, I've seen it. I always like that.
Chef.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always like those motivations that kind of like, catch the character type off guard. You see a giant hulking figure and you're like, obviously he wants to be a football player, the equivalent of,
exactly.
right?
No,
and then,
exactly. And it's that kind of fun juxtaposition.
Right.
And the weird thing was, I noticed early on in the way some of the kids reacted to it was like, a lot of them pointed out that the Fortrex had a kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then I realized that my kids, they're really, one of the modern things that kids have grown up with now is like, there's all these cooking shows and food channel, and they have an awareness of it. And so it's like, my son one time asked me, he goes, hey Dad, if we go to Vegas, can we go to Gordon Ramsay's new restaurant? And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, about that? Yeah, I'd really like to try his signature dessert. Oh, okay.
Shut up and read a comic book.
It's like, he knew all about it, and I thought, well, wow, let's give one of our guys that. He wants to do that because to me it's kind of a cool modern thing.
It's great to be more. I know here in New York, we got directed to one of the chefs from the Master Chef. They opened up a new restaurant here, and me and my sister went to that, and it was really nice. It was great.
And there's that awareness now, so it's like let's do that because kids have that awareness now. So. We shouldn't be old fuddy-duddies like Tommy.
Much older than I look. Right? So I mean, so we're just gonna have a lot of fun with that pop culture.
Right.
Going in here, like everything's modern. The music is modern.
Right.
We have they have these holographic roads, and we just generally have a lot of fun with puns in this one.
Right.
This is going to be a translator's nightmare.
Obviously,
let's go to a nightclub.
Think of it, right?
Okay, a nightclub.
So
or at least 2 levels. As Mark said, it's kind of a family viewing experience, obviously for the kids, but we really wanted to make sure that there's enough subtle humor that works on that level that, all right, there's stuff the kids won't necessarily get.
But like
the adult will.
Right.
We have a lot of big words in there actually, but it's almost. As a kid, I love big words like.
I did too.
Of dinosaurs. I felt really, really smart.
Right.
Being able to paraphrase those words.
Right.
So we also have that. It's very dialogue driven that show actually.
And Tommy was very involved in the music. He had this like. He had the idea of how. I think you could hear it in your head, right? What you wanted for the music.
It's
because it's great, and it was largely like, okay, I know how I want it to be.
Yeah, it's like with the score, like we have like 3 factions in this kingdom. There's like the bad guys, then there's the kingdom itself, which is like neutral, then there's the NEXO KNIGHTS.
Right.
Which when they get kind of upgrade and power up, it becomes very kind of techno pop music. So it's in that way it's kind of very modern, which is I'm not sure that you've in any TV show for kids to this point have heard that kind of music.
Right.
Because it's just very out there. It's very aggressive, very strange actually.
Right.
Then on the other hand you have like the big dark orchestral score to the bad guys, and then you have the fuddy-duddy techno pop for the kingdom, which is like a much lighter thing, and much more. It's like a newscast.
Right.
It's like that kind of music. And then once we get into that power up moment where they get their power, it's like you almost can't be in your own body when
Right,
you hear
right.
that. You need to listen to that at high volumes, because it keeps building and building and building, and it's like, and then there's that release, and you can really kick some monster butt. It's great.
See, that's why I fed you that question about music, because it's that
it's
kind of passion.
Yeah, I know.
That it's like, it's like.
It's been a struggle.
Well, because I think you heard early. I'm convinced early on you knew what you wanted to hear.
Right, and then like you had to get it on. You have
right?
to get it on. No, I completely know. Like having that thing in your head, being like this has to translate into what I'm showing.
Right.
No, we do. We kind of have to do the same thing too. Where we have to compose our own music because YouTube will strike it down. If it's copyrighted music, we can't use it. So like we've had to compose, and sometimes like you'll get that thing in your head where you're like, I need it to sound this way, and you just have to you work at it and you experiment with different things. But no, I'm really excited about that too. I know one of the best things for Ninjago for me is how catchy that theme song is.
Yeah.
That and they redid it for the one with everybody was the robot, the funny robot overlords too. But
yeah, that song on Ninjago is just so catchy, which is also the reason why, that is the theme song.
Right.
We just keep reproducing it in ways that fits the current theme of the series.
Right.
So like, now it's technological, now it's a bit more like grand. It's like, with the Anaconda season, Tournament of Elements, it was like, you really got those kung fu things in there, and taiko drums, and with variation in that season. Now in Possession, it's very ghost-like.
Right.
We're gonna probably keep doing that. But we have some awesome music in this one. Something new.
Yeah, no, I mean, just hearing about it, I'm really excited to see that translate on screen and to see how that comes across.
We're gonna be anticipating a lot of reactions to that. Hopefully positive. We like
Hopefully,
it.
Yeah. All right. So how many episodes is there going to be? Like
a lot.
A lot? A good amount?
We want to make sure that the kids get enough.
Right.
So, once you start falling in love with this thing,
right.
there's a lot to view. So, I think we're allowed to say that we have 20 episodes for the first year.
Okay.
There's also going to be some exclusive stuff for the Murloc 2.0 app on the
iOS. Right. So you can see exclusive scenes and clips like that.
Obviously, what we've been showing here on Comic-Con is more like teasers, short films. But there's going to be exclusive online content as well, and there's going to be new stuff coming throughout the year.
Right.
So it keeps. We've never. I think it's safe to say we've never had this much content for anything we've ever done. Right. In a single year.
Yeah, launching out of the gate.
For the launch, having a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So that people can be like, I want to see more.
Right. I know usually it takes like 1 or 2 years for everything to come together, usually for Lego lines. And it's great seeing they have such faith in the line they're pushing, like all this stuff that's been developed for.
Well, the cool thing is that way, if a kid sees something digitally, he can say to his friend who maybe saw something on the show, and they can talk about it because they compliment each other.
Right.
Which is kind of fun.
Where did you get that power?
Exactly.
I got that from that place on the internet.
I want all the powers.
But we really just wanted.
I'm not going to trade powers with you, though.
Is that possible? Can you trade powers? Is that something you can do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can we say that? Did I make a mistake?
Oh. I have no idea, but you can do it down in the booth, so I assume we can say
okay,
that.
good.
Okay, right. Okay,
because that to me, that's the kid in me coming out.
Oh, I know.
That's
for
the
Pokemon, right? Exactly. Like you going collecting them all.
And that's the thing. My kids were so into Pokemon, and that is the thing that used to frustrate me when I would go into pitch shows or write on shows.
Right.
I would get a lot of people who would tell me, we need to simplify this for kids, and I would say, my 5-year-old son knows every iteration of
every Pokemon evolution,
and
exactly.
what their powers are, and if they can take a Pikachu to a Raichu to,
right, exactly.
do it all, I'm like, we need to actually make this more complicated because they want to have that. They're hungry for it. Their heads are sponges, and so that's why it was so fun with these guys, where they'll say, maybe that, sometimes Tommy says, maybe that's a little too simple, or maybe I think we could twist it in this way, and it's like.
Yeah, you kind of
awesome.
You got to respect your audience. Give them something.
Exactly.
It takes a certain amount of engagement to get the full experience. Right. But really, what we wanted to do is like, this is a, now we talk a lot about the TV show, but obviously there's the product, there's the books, there's the online experience, there's the app. So we just want to make sure that however you engage with NEXO Knights, you're getting rewarded for that.
Right.
So there's going to be all these touch points where you can collect the powers from.
Yeah, okay.
You don't need to purchase something. You
Right,
just
right.
like make sure you interact with it.
Right.
And, then it's yours for the taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're just looking forward.
And that's
getting
been
the
that's
toys
what's
in
been,
our own hands. Right.
been great
Right.
for me working in television logs I have is working with Lego. They don't want to dumb anything down. You know,
Right.
They don't want to talk down to the audience. They want to, you know, they want to make it that family friendly thing that everybody can, you know, that everybody's looking up rather than
Right.
looking
Yeah,
down.
definitely.
And, you know, and it's
I
like-
know, like for me, I watched Avatar. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender came out when I was a kid,
Right.
And not only like my parents watched it, we watched it as a family. That show, it brought us together. And
I
it was
did
like
the same thing with my kids. And
Yeah.
what still amazes me about Avatar is I can't do it, but my sons can see a random episode on TV. They go, "Oh, this is before the arrival of a comet." This is so.
Right,
this
right.
Is, you know,
They know
like,
exactly
They know
where it is in
exactly
time.
what
Yeah.
season. I'm like, really? And oh
Right.
yeah, Dad, because you know he's blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, you know, it's like they still have it, and so that. To me, that's why it's been great working on this because you don't get the normal. Well, it needs to be just episodic, and we can't
Right,
tell an
yeah,
ongoing
right.
story, and we can't move forward. And
Right.
it's like, but you know, people are hungry for that
Definitely.
now.
And
You
I know for me, like, you know, I'm older now. All the great shows I remember as a kid are all the ones that had complex, multi-layered storylines. You know, it's
Right.
Avatar and Korra and Teen Titans and Justice League and the Batman. All that
Exactly.
stuff was all.
Exactly.
Kids love that. Like they really,
Right.
as soon as you latch on, and once they get really
Yeah,
invested,
yeah.
they will not forget that into adulthood, into beyond. You know.
Yeah.
But right now, like they just launched Bionicle again, and all of the, you know, we went here last year for the launch party, and it was all like 20-year-olds and like people going, "Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
they're bringing this
remembered
back
it. Yeah,
again!
yeah.
They're coming
Yeah.
back!" Oh, it was great. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see that. Like it was really, they know that, you know, that's where everything lies, and that they're
really
going
hit
forward with
that.
it.
And I think that's just one of our strengths actually as a company, is the way we work. I mean, so we kind of represent the story, but as that happens, we have like this product designers are pitching in ideas and stuff is going back and forward. So okay, there's this character is showing up in the show. Should that be part of a product? Is the character so interesting you would actually want to play with it?
Right.
So that goes back to those guys. And
Right.
Then there's the guy over here, Alex, who's doing the character designs, and they're awesome. So always doing
Right.
this, you know, designs and designing the powers and stuff like that. So that then get fit back into, you know, oh, that's great ideas. We need that in the show as well.
Right.
So it's really that integrity. We're really trying to control this one. And that's where Mikkel really comes in. It's,
Right. Tying everything together.
make sure there's nothing contradictory about this.
Thank you for setting that one up. Yeah, no, I have the pleasure of working with all the different areas that NEXO Knights will touch.
Right.
So from product design to books to apps to campaigns to everything.
Right.
So I have to try to make sure that everything's in line with what these guys create.
Right.
And feed all the other parts also feed into sometimes what's going on in the story, how it develops.
So let me ask you this. So I've always kind of wondered this myself. When you're coming up with the story and you're kind of, you know, you're going, do you create the sets first and then like, all right, we're gonna have to write episodes around this? Or do you have like, this is ideas we want for sets in the new season or the new year, and then let's design sets off that and then we write that into the show? Or how does that work?
That's really, we just want to tell a good story.
Right.
Whatever we require to tell that good story, that goes in the script.
Right.
And obviously then we have our good production company to film that's producing this stuff.
Right.
So it's really about, you know, we had a set budget.
Right.
But we also have great ambitions. We
Right.
want this to look great. We want it to be diverse, go different places.
Yeah.
Right.
So we come up with the craziest locations.
Right.
And then, you know, okay, let's put that in there, but also let's make sure that, you know, if we feel it's a good and crazy location, of course we will want to go back there and have more adventures there. So, you know, I think what you'll see is that the world starts out pretty normal. It's a nice world with high tech, but then as we move on, it's gonna add stuff that's a little more fantasy.
Right.
It's gonna be evolved, but we wanted to start from a point where, okay, this feels very natural.
Right.
And then go from there.
And I think, you start with certain things you want to have in it, that come from the product end of it. It's like, well, you get that Fortrex, man, you got to have that.
Right. Yeah,
that's
of
the
course.
coolest thing ever, right?
Or Millennium Falcon.
Exactly. But then I've been
the Fortrex. It was just, I mentioned it before, and I just want to stress this, like, a knight is, you always get the castle.
Right.
But a castle is something sitting there waiting to be attacked.
Right.
By having a rolling castle,
right,
you take the fight on the road.
Exactly. Yeah. It's put on the defensive.
Now you're going out to face your enemy,
right,
rather than sit around for him to wait to attack you. So that's where that becomes a very important component of the story. We have Murloc 2.0, the digital wizard, is kind of the operating system in the Fortrex, as we call it.
But then it's also a very back and forth thing. Like, you can say, well, what if it had this feature?
Right.
And then product guys will say, yeah, that we could do something like that. And then it's like, because from a story point of view, you say, well, that great, because we'll make use of that. That's a fun thing to do.
And it's going to be great to play with.
Right.
The thing.
Right.
And there are elements that comes from the product designers directly into the story. That's something great that they just suddenly come up with. That it's so brilliant. We need to force Mark to write it into the script as soon as possible. So.
And I make it even more brilliant.
Exactly.
But it is a very collaborative process where you'll sit in meetings and you can all sit around and talk about stuff and how could this work and how could that work, and will that be viable or will that not be viable, and how would we see it in TV versus how it would be seen in the product, and I mean, for me, since I was I was a Lego fan way back when you scrambled for every clear piece you could get your hands on.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just didn't make them, and to be able to see all the stuff that they can do now, it's like, well, this is great. I would be like, so this is what it'll look like in the product. And and it'd be like, awesome, okay, good. Then I'll use those in the show because those are fantastic.
But it is two different things. Obviously, we make toys, we're a toy company. But when we work on the story, it's like, okay, this is entertainment. Pure entertainment. We're doing this for the sake of the children. It's like, and it really feel like that. We want to make sure that we give the kids something that they're genuinely wanting. It's not like pushing anything on them. It's just like great story. It's what we have the unfair advantage of having been 9-year-old boys ourselves.
Yes.
We kind of know what we want.
Yeah.
Of course there's gonna be some fighting in there.
Yeah.
That's what boys like.
Yeah.
But as Lego, we just do it in a way where it's it's fairly consequenceless. It's always very enjoyable. There's always that sparkle in the eye whenever it happens. And with this particular, we get a lot of those witty quips between both bad guys that are, everyone is a bit dysfunctional in this.
It's true.
It's very rare to see.
But that's what makes it sort of real. That's what keeps that. That's, I think, like when I thought about it, if you reflect on, sort of the new ground that the Lego movie broke, is that everybody could kind of relate to it. He's just an amateur, ordinary guy, but there's something extraordinary in every ordinary person, right? So keep pushing it forward. I think Lego really hit on something with that, doing those kinds of stories. Yeah.
Oh, the Lego movie, I think that was amazing. When I saw it, I mean, I was excited for it just on principle, right? It's a Lego movie. But when I saw it, I was like, not only is this a great, just a Lego movie as a fan, just as anybody going in, it's one of the best kids movies I've ever seen.
And people who didn't know Lego or weren't big Lego fans, that I talked to really liked the movie.
Everybody I talked to, even if they're not into things, I mean, I have a YouTube channel, but like, people who are like, like my family or everything, they're still like, man, we love that. They loved everything that went into it. And I
always tell people, make sure you sit through the credits so you can hear all of Batman's songs.
Oh yes. That thing was so great. That's like that how they're able to no parents.
And so setting that kind of a standard, it's a really high standard, and it feels really good then, when I sit down with these guys and the Lego folks, and we want to set that same kind of storytelling standard where you can have, humor and emotion and drama and action, and it sets a really high standard and makes it really fun. And so I like the fact that the bar has been raised.
Yeah,
not
right.
that you're just trying to make sort of a dumb kids show.
Yeah, right.
It's like, no, it's not that.
Right. Yeah, you can go places, you can do all these things you couldn't do before because of how much. I mean, it made a ton of money. I remember we went to the Lego store last year after New York Comic Con, and the guy there was like, after the movie aired, the store was completely cleaned out of the Lego movie sets, just completely cleaned out. So both in great story, and also showing in numbers too.
Right.
Yeah, I think everyone was a bit surprised by the success of that. You know, in retrospect, of course.
Yeah, of course,
it was great,
right.
You know, but and I mean that really also just helps us in a way because that was such a colorful, vivid experience. And as you can see from the footage that's now available on NEXO KNIGHTS, it's very colorful.
Right.
So we want to make sure it has a good original feeling.
Right.
And also like with enough detail. So if you look closely, it's like the knight's armor has scratches on it. It just like it doesn't feel like a pristine new world. It's just like something that's been used. So I think we've come up with a really good look for this one. It has like a dry vinyl look to it, which is not like Lego bricks, which is shiny. And then it has a sense of something has rubbed up against this and it's been scratched. So nothing is more boring than a sword that doesn't have a chip in it. Yeah. You want to see it's been used.
Right. Well, that's really great. So, all right, here's a question that I kind of have, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna get can't answer this, but I'm gonna push it out anyways. So, I believe
like
about
steampunk.
A lot of people are gonna be like, hey, so I heard there was a huge rumor it was gonna be steampunk, and there's gonna be all this thing.
Tommy opens the can of steampunk worms.
Is there?
I can answer that.
Okay.
All right. Steampunk.
Right.
We love steampunk.
Yes.
Because we have a certain age.
Yeah.
You kind of have to love steampunk. You kind of have to have been around the block and said, okay, I've seen a computer, I've seen a car, and I've seen it so much that I've grown a bit tired of it.
Right.
That's why I love to see that expressed as steampunk.
Right.
And there's spigots and dials
there's like the gears and everything. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right.
Great. But we want to make sure that NEXO KNIGHTS is something that just really appeals to the kids. It's made for the kids. Right. And they're just not there yet.
Yeah.
They will get there.
Right.
And that's really what, adult fans really
want.
Right.
And it was really all the adult fans mostly. I mean, myself included, who are really wanting it. But I get where you're coming from. It's all these adults being like, oh, I'd really love to see this.
But as soon as you show a steampunk thing to a kid next to something that's really sleek, has an unknown but mystical and intriguing power source. It's like they will just gravitate.
Kids completely gravitate toward it.
But
newer is always better for them.
We really want to do some steampunk.
Yeah.
We just need the perfect concept.
Yeah. Right. So
Brick
just have
Ferns, young Brick Ferns.
Yeah, let's do it.
They're right. 20,000 leagues under the sea.
Exactly. Under the villain.
But it's just like you can. I don't know if that's fair to say, but you can feel Lego's getting there now. There's Ghostbusters sets.
Yeah, no, they're doing. We did the Doctor Who, they did Portal.
Coming out,
there's stuff for the A-Falls.
Right.
And I think.
And then the idea set they have the sub from 20,000 Leagues. Is up
really?
There,
I haven't seen that yet.
I think the last time I looked, it was close to 10,000 votes.
Okay, I know. One of the most heartbreaking things for me was seeing the Serenity from Firefly. Got 1,000 votes, and you're like, oh, sorry, you could do. And I understood why, because it's got that. But I would have loved to see the Serenity, the Lego Serenity.
Because otherwise, you're like, now I kind of figured out how to build it myself.
Yeah, right.
Or hunt down the plans that somebody might put out.
In a few years, we may do a TV show specifically for the A-Falls.
Yeah, that would be for me.
They would appreciate some steampunk.
Dream come true is to see like a really smart kind of comedy, almost like you could even just do like a Comedy General skit show. Lego covers everything. You could have like Abraham Lincoln in one thing, or like Robot Chicken a bit, like a Robot Chicken spin-off of Lego or something. The ones they've done, like the little skits of Lego.
So long as Abraham Lincoln is in a cool hover chair.
Right, of course. You can't not have the hover
chair. Was that steam powered?
It could be.
I don't know. We
Maybe.
can say it was.
Yeah, there you go. Like your
can,
steampunk.
We can throw back the
Can
curtain and
confirm.
reveal that it is. Yeah.
So I know that Lego Ninjago is getting a movie. They've announced there's a Lego Ninjago movie coming on. Is that? Can you say if that's going to be related to the TV show, or is it going to be like a separate spin-off thing? Or are you like zipped?
We know, but we can't tell you.
Okay, all right, no.
I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Fair enough. Is there a thing with NEXO KNIGHTS? Do NEXO KNIGHTS and Ninjago? Is there the possibility of them having a little crossover or doing like a little a thing there?
We know, but we can't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be time to get.
I think
it might time for lunch.
one of the big advantages of our NEXO KNIGHTS
Right.
worlds called Knighton, it's so pop culture. So
Right.
obviously there's all the media.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you would see some subtle hints.
Maybe
in there
like there's
once
a
in while.
little there's
We
a little things.
did that thing in Ninjago where the ninja fell
Right.
into Chima just like for a brief cameo there.
Oh wait, really? When was that?
You didn't?
I didn't.
So you don't
didn't see
watch
that.
Ninjago. It's the last episode of Possession.
Oh, I didn't see
They're,
that. Oh, okay.
so it's Lloyd and Moral are fighting
Right.
with the realm crystal. They're
Right.
fighting for it, and they keep dropping in different realms that you've seen throughout Ninjago, like the Mountains of Madness,
Right.
the Cloud Kingdom. And at a certain point, they drop into Chima. It was just a joke,
No, but yeah, no, okay,
Get
right.
some reactions out.
Yeah,
And
no.
It was really fun reading responses on that.
Yeah.
But generally, I think it's fun to mix
Right.
worlds, and the Lego movie did like that so perfectly.
Right.
The Lego Dimensions game is just like it's just a step beyond.
Right.
Can't wait to try the final version of it.
Right,
It's
right,
just come out. So yeah, that's the possibility. We
Okay.
cannot verify it. But
Yeah, okay,
keep your
all
eyes
right.
open.
Keep your eyes open. And do you know, like, if there's any? I mean, next night Ninjago got a movie. Are there talks like maybe you guys can kind of gear towards future 2021 release? I don't know what they have planned.
I guess it depends on what people want.
Yeah.
I mean, we always want to react
Right.
to trends and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely we have high hopes for NEXO KNIGHTS. We want it to have a long life so we can
Right.
keep employing this guy.
Yeah.
So we can keep telling those stories, and I can hopefully get a couple of the minifigures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already got the writers on the show are already like they're here, and I posted a picture and like, can you bring some of the sets back? I said the toys aren't out yet, but everybody's so like.
Yeah. I saw. I'm
Wants to
looking
see.
at those toys through the glass on the exhibit, and I'm like, I'm looking like, all right, if I budget enough, I can get this and Star Wars and the new Bionicle sets and like all the things that I want from Lego.
The coolest thing, and I
coming here.
can't mention specifically what it is, but for me personally, if it comes out as a toy, and I think it's going to, it was something I suggested in an episode as a joke,
Right.
and then one of the designers actually built it in the next meeting I was in, and I was like, are you going to make it? Yeah, I think we're going to. And I was like, so when that comes out, I will feel sort of fulfilled as a man-child.
Right.
As a kid who played with Lego.
And now you
worked
said
on the
something,
show,
right.
and there's something I actually suggested.
And
So
you got
if you
put-
see
it's
something
like-
totally weird and off concept as part of the NEXO KNIGHT product lines, that's
All
probably
right,
the one.
can you give it just so we know when it comes out that it is? Can you just give like the vaguest like hint possible, so when we see it, we're like, oh, this is what he was talking about.
Can I?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about, but
It involves Robin.
Okay.
is that your idea?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
There we go. Okay. Whenever you see something great, he'll be like, no, there we go. Credits.
But you might be want to look out for a Monty Python reference.
Okay. All right.
Enough said, right?
Yeah.
All right. That I can definitely deal with. There's Monty Python. Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So when we're doing stories, it's perfect to be three persons because
Right.
two persons can easily sit and agree on, oh, this is great. Let's put an eel in it. That's great. Let's
Yeah.
make that definite, and then we'll move
Right.
on. But with three of us, there's always like one skeptic in the room is like, really?
Yeah.
So
It's helpful though.
Yeah, you.
Right.
You know, we keep
You get lost sometimes.
we
Right.
keep changing and taking that role. So it's just like if 3 person think it's the best idea, it
Right.
probably is a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
But 2 people can easily sit there and seduce each other with
Well,
arguments.
yeah, we feel like a great, yeah. So the third, that's a voice of reason.
Yeah.
That's why there's 3.
It's
Yeah.
scary looking at us and looking for a voice of reason.
I'm not volunteering as the voice of reason. I'll tell you that right now.
You didn't look at me.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the free food.
Yeah, right. Of course, the refreshments, so to do those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, donuts in the morning, coffee in the
Danish
begin.
and Danish.
Yeah. Do you guys work in Denmark? Or where does it? Where
We
does the
have
thing?
worked in Denmark, but we've worked basically sort of all over the world.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that sounds really
sorry.
good. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Marcus is in Los Angeles, we're in Denmark. Our production office is in London.
Okay. Right.
Now we're here in New York. So whenever we can get together, we try to get some work done.
Right.
So so I think we get together like every 3 months to kind of push it forward.
Okay.
Try to get it as sharp as possible. So it's easy for Mark to write stuff or to hand it off to his writing team.
And you really need to be in the same room to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
as modern
I
as the
know.
world is, and as great as Skype is, you need to be able to,
I
have everybody sit
completely agree.
down and
Yeah.
it's so
It's like a
helpful.
big wall of post-it notes that just
Right.
keeps changing place.
Yeah.
Falling down.
Falling off, yeah.
All the time.
Where
I
is
had
that
a
breeze coming
lush
from?
head of hair before we started this podcast.
And then you just tore it off. It was so.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. About when I was we started this thing when I was 12, and I have these friends online that I met, and we do stuff over Skype all the time. But last year we met each other for the first time, and you can't
replicate it.
You can't do that in real
You can
life. not
touch
yet.
on it, and it's a great way to. I mean, it's a great way to keep in touch and
Right. Right.
You have to do it. It's
Right.
the modern world, right?
Right.
But having it being in the same place, and,
Yeah. You
yeah.
can't.
And then you can
just
do
can't
the
keep
gags
peace.
and do the
Right.
bits. You can actually act them out.
Put on a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
See if we can get inspired by something here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this place is pretty inspiring.
Yeah. No. I mean, when you go looking at all of this stuff and knowing this is where it
Even a
ends up.
bird has made its way in here.
Oh,
A
has
bird
it?
flying around.
This flying around? Oh.
I always feel I should be dressed up in these places.
I've always wanted to go dressed up as something. I thought of a cool idea last year. I'm like, what if I went as like a Lego character, but in an Iron Man suit? It was a combination. That would be great, and also a lot of work.
A lot of work.
Yeah, exactly.
So much
and then you
work.
got to walk around like
Then
that.
you got to
yeah.
walk around
Well, it was
wearing
funny.
it.
I was asking the guys yesterday, okay, if you had to come in costume, who you would come as?
Right.
But I hadn't asked myself that.
Right.
Right. And then today I saw a kid. Right. We saw that
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
He was dressed as Stan Lee, and I was like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
That would be.
That's
that
it.
would be a great.
That's
thing.
it.
You just walk around. Hey, true believers, Excelsior! Welcome to the New York Comic Con.
pretty fake.
Can you believe how many Spider-Men are here? I thought there was only one of them. I'm blown away.
You even have a fat Spider-Man here.
There's a fat one. There's a
You need to
There's
grow a
a skinny
mustache.
one.
You're there.
exactly in the
And
glasses.
that
What about you two? Which one would you go as if you had to dress as a character?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. I have so many Michael Jackson
yeah.
outfits. I know that's a little offbeat here.
No, yeah.
Or off the wall, you might say.
You also you said this though.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I'm a big
Evil Dead.
Evil
Yes.
Dead fan. Obviously, it's great.
He already has a chainsaw at home that he made to
Yeah.
be Ash.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
maybe that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I generally what I look for in costumes is something that's also a bit practical to move around.
Right,
So,
right,
of
course.
Having a chainsaw in your hand. Is
Right,
bit,
a little, just a little. Hard to shake hands
It's
with
over
people.
there. What now? I don't remember.
Okay.
But did you tell me?
I didn't answer.
Oh well, that's a cop out. Now you're on the
Now,
spot.
yeah, now you gotta say it for the world.
corporate fat.
I don't know. I think R2D2.
I've always wanted to do that costume.
R2D2 is a basketball player, so you're justified to be tall and not have to be on your knees.
I did
Not an
see.
R2D2.
I saw this cosplay, this thing that was R2D's, but he was like a mech, I don't know if I have to find the image somehow, but it had like the head, but it had like he had arms and stuff, and it looked really cool and R2D2ish at the same time.
But see,
so,
that's
like,
cool. So he could still walk around.
Right, he still walk around and be like, yeah, you know.
No, the deal that appealed to me was that I could drive around. I wouldn't have to walk.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
So
right. You can
kinda,
sit down. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
You wouldn't have to actually
do
answer anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You have your own laptop there, like you get some work done while you're walking the line.
And the taser. yeah.
I've always wanted to do a Yoda costume, but where, you know, the feet are right here.
Oh, yeah.
So you are actually short, and then you're just like on a big stump.
That's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
Because I've always tried to utilize my bald head in the best way I can. So I've been Shrek, and I've been Homer Simpson. You're like full face paint. So Jack Skellington, whatever. Like
you know what? Actually, I just thought you could be Yoda and have like the feet down here, and in the back you have Luke, and like you have Luke. I can see but you have like Luke's head on your back.
Right.
You look so you're walking almost backwards. He's walking backwards with the Yoda on his back.
All right, next year.
Yeah, there you go.
You're gonna need a bigger suitcase.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah.
So we don't actually know when this broadcast will start.
Right.
The NEXO Knights.
Right.
I think it says downstairs it's gonna be
I think it's January, yeah.
national broadcast.
Right.
Sometime early.
January, yeah. Depending on what country.
Here's
Right.
the cool thing. It's gonna be out in more than 130 countries.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that there were that many
Right.
countries.
Right. That
But
many
it's
countries
like-
that had
it's
cable
just
too. You know.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's going all
everywhere,
over, yeah.
Which is very satisfying, having worked for it on it for so long. Yeah.
Right, see what you have be done. No, I like as someone. I mean, doing videos too. Once you see your thing done and you see the comments and people responding to it, it's like nothing competes with that.
Oh, one thing we can answer too. This is funny.
Okay,
We were
all right,
talking
all
about this. Is when the logo leaked online, somebody said, "Oh, of course it's called NEXO Knights because there's a town in Denmark called Nexo." So I called Tommy up. Is there a town in Denmark called Nexo? Because it wasn't in our thing.
Right.
And then he had to think, goes, yeah, there is, but it
has
never even. Oh
hadn't
man.
entered into our thinking at all. It was very funny.
Well, that spawned another idea that's coming up in a different episode.
That's right. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
was
you know,
funny.
it's great when stuff falls into your lap like that because it just feels organic. You know,
Right.
It's just you work with something and it just gets alive on its own.
Right.
And that's the way that, like a lot of the humor started to play out.
Right.
It's like once you've gone down that path, it's just bubbling and
Yeah.
inspiring to
Yeah,
work
yeah.
at.
Yeah.
We go down a lot of rabbit holes in the writing of this thing, which is fun.
Yeah. Rabbit holes. Yeah.
All right. So I guess kind of. I don't know how much time you guys have left. Are you
much
on a
battery
time
do we
plan?
have left?
I know. I was thinking. It just gave me the alert that I have 20% left.
Oh.
So all right. Well, so I guess kind of getting into questions. How long have you guys worked on this in advance, and how long did it take to start production on a season? Like, are you guys already working on season 2, or are you waiting until next year, 2016, and then getting there? Like, how long does that usually take? What's the time period?
Well, we want our shows to look good and be well written.
Right.
So it takes quite a long time to produce.
Right.
So obviously we don't really have time to stop.
Right.
We just need to keep going.
Right.
So we're way ahead of what we're telling people.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you know, and that's why it's important that we keep getting together because you know. So
Yeah, hashing out.
watch out for 2017 then.
Okay.
And we've been working for a while now. Has it been 18 months? I think so, close to it.
That's not.
You've been longer though because
Right.
of
Yeah,
you know,
but
all the
it generally
concepting and
takes
stuff,
maybe 9 months from the script is finished to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
episode
yeah.
is
Right.
finished.
but,
But then you know there's a lot of
Going
production
back,
going
yeah,
on.
like behind the scenes,
and there's the
voice acting.
pre-production of just the concepting of it and
Right.
I
getting
get
everybody
an
on the same
email
page.
every Monday,
Yeah.
kind of saying, okay, this is the stuff you need to look at this week, and it's
Right.
like, All right, it's all in different stages. It's like comp when they start to render the image, then there's audio and grade, and there's animation and layout and animatic, and you know, long episodes, short episodes for the web. So it's there's a lot. Mark participates with all the voice recordings as well.
Okay, right. So you get to see are the actors like individual, or are they like, you know?
They record a radio play style. So in other words, they're all in a room.
Right.
And then they do their and what's great is the cast has gotten into. We've gotten very lucky. They're very talented, and they've gotten into their characters to the point now where they'll ask to do stuff. You know, they'll say, "Can I try this line in a different way?" And my thing is always like, "Hey, so long as we got a good version as written, do whatever you want." And so some of our characters have gotten so into it that they've added some stuff in that you just go, "Wow, it just so pluses it." It's like, it's so great, and especially as they've gone on in the later episodes, it's like you can just really tell that they're loving it, and they're playing off each other, and they're having fun. You know, I know particularly Jethro and the Book of Monsters are like, they're doing stuff all the time. There have been occasions where we've asked them to do little bits of music, and they'll do it, and they'll get into it and sing it. And Vincent Tong can actually sing, so that's very helpful.
Yeah, I saw part of that behind the scenes when Yago did released that.
Yeah, and in fact, I think almost everybody in our cast is actually a singer. So that's really that's really good too.
Really fun.
So
I know I've heard that playing an evil character is so fun. Like some people say it's even more fun than playing hero characters sometimes, because you can just let it go, like, you know, just personify yourself.
And they have fun with that.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's really downplayed here at Comic Con, but I think that Book of Monsters is gonna be
it's gonna be a huge hit.
It's a great character.
Right.
It's malicious. It's evil. It's sarcastic. And the interaction with Gesture there is gonna be something else.
I think this is a personal question from LJ. He's another person who watches our channel. You know who he is, right?
I know of LJ.
Yeah, you know of him. He's always
lucky not to be here.
Yeah. He's always asking, how does one get into? Because he wants to be a voice actor. That's what he wants his job to be. He's going to, he's going to do lessons for that. How does that happen? How does the audition process for being a voice actor go? Like, you be with a guild, and then you do auditions there, or like
voice actors are just regular actors,
right?
You know, so they're acting all the time. So a lot of that process is the same. You know, you try to find yourself an agent. You take classes.
Right.
So a lot of them have taken voice acting classes. I know particularly in Los Angeles, there's a lot of different teachers, and then a lot of different voice directors will offer classes.
Okay.
And then you just make yourself a demo tape.
Right.
And you try to get an agent. Okay. And that's the best way to go out then and audition.
Right. So
for that kind of thing. And then there are various places in different countries that are sort of centers. So like most of the voice acting in the U.S. is done in and around Los Angeles.
Okay.
Most of the voice acting in Canada is done in and around Vancouver.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So
Vancouver's such a big film city. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's the same kind of thing as almost any kind of preparation that an actor would do for regular acting.
Right.
And then just some of the stuff you have to learn about, like how to use your voice, and
right?
How close to stand to the mic, and how to read for an audition as opposed to just getting an everyday job. There are different types, and so that becomes that kind of thing. But it's a fun, it can be challenging,
right?
But it's just mind-boggling how insanely good these people are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're each assigned the main character, but then they do all the
side characters.
Right. We have tons of side characters as well, and the way they're able to just change personality and switch voices. They even have like.
Okay.
So even that is like they can have dialogue with themselves where they just change the voices. So there's a lot of talent going into it. And basically that's all they have.
Right.
They need to get everything through the voice, and then obviously the animators work.
Right. Kind of.
Yeah, I think we gotta go.
We
might have to.
We've kind of hijacked the room.
Right. Okay. All right. One last thing, just for the Bionicle fans, are any of you involved at all with the Bionicle Netflix show? Do you know who's handling that? Do you know anything?
No, we're not.
No, I did. No. Okay.
Not us particularly.
Yeah.
We know of it.
Right.
But no, we're leaving now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Can we be here for Adventure Time? We love Adventure Time.
Yeah, I know.
opportunity to get me one.
I had to
I
wait
know.
in line for 25 minutes to get it.
That's totally worth it, though. Of course, right.
So getting one.
So that was a good natural wrap up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Get thrown out.
Get thrown out of the press room, of course. But no, yeah. Thanks so much for giving us. We'll be like I said, we'll be going through episode by episode. So if you're interested in like a review going forward, sometimes we do have a tendency to be a little harsh, as I'm sure you know, Tommy's gonna realize. But we love everything that like come out.
But
like
it's fun to watch it.
Yeah.
Because, you guys are reviewing it like it was made for you.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right.
You're a bunch of old farts.
We've been so like, man, we're 20 years, like 20, 19 years old. We're reviewing a thing made for kids. Like, oh no, why is this?
Yeah,
You know,
I
why
saw
is this
that
kid,
plot
like,
twist coming
right,
a mile away.
but
But in an 8-year-old kid. No, probably not. So yeah. That's always fun.
No, it was great. It was great talking to all of you, and I hope we can just, well, maybe even just do this again after next season. You know, talk a bit about what happened.
Great.
Yeah, you know what we
Then
enjoyed.
we'll have more to talk about.
Right, we can talk about what's the
actually
concept
say
of
stuff.
Right, exactly.
We said too much already.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
And I hope you like the show.
Yeah, I hope
Everyone,
Yeah.
thanks for watching.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys all again. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.